Good afternoon. This is me and the Finance Committee. It is October 9th at 22 minutes after 5. To my left is Mr. Swayzer, member of the committee. To my right, Mr. Sievert, also a member, and I'm Tom Kendall, Chairman of the Finance Committee. I believe we have one item to come before us today.
You actually have two.
Or two items, I'm sorry.
The first item, though, is a request, a recommendation that the City Council authorize the staff to submit an STP, or a Surface Transportation Program grant application for Phase 2 of the West Main Corridor project that would commit the city to paying for no greater than, actually it's 50% of the total project, not 25%. Jill Rhodes, city engineer, is here to explain the process, but I will start by saying that we will ask for emergency legislation due to the fact that the grant submissions are actually due tomorrow. So we are asking for forgiveness on this one, but we feel very comfortable asking for forgiveness because the opportunity here is to underwrite approximately $3 million of Phase 2 of the West Main Corridor project, which up until this point we did not believe we were eligible for, and which is why we did not pursue the grant earlier, and why we are right up against the deadline. With that, I will ask Mrs. Rhodes to maybe give us a few more details.
So just to kind of lay out maybe Phase 1 and Phase 2, we recently, earlier in the spring, so Phase 1 and Phase 2 encompasses all the way from downtown along West Main all the way out to 75. It's just over 1.6 miles. Phase 1 is from downtown to just past the Ridge intersection, and it'll be a widening, a resurfacing, redoing curbs and sidewalks, putting in turn lanes, replacing traffic signals that are outdated, removing some traffic signals. So pretty much overhead lines start to begin that discussion as part of Phase 1, and then Phase 2 starts past Ridge and goes all the way to 75. Originally, timing of this project, we were thinking we were going to go faster. We thought if we applied for the safety funds that we would get it in 20, maybe 21. Well, that's been pushed back to 22, state fiscal year 22. And so we were like thinking, okay, we're out of contention of asking for any grant for Phase 2. But as it turns out, what we're applying for and what we're requesting for Phase 2, well, we were awarded then state safety money over $2.5 million for Phase 1 earlier this year. We also, as a part of the whole project, we have urban resurfacing, ODOT urban resurfacing, which is a little over $1 million that they're going to, ODOT will come in, it's a 80-20 split, it's $1 million essentially that we'd get in a grant for urban resurfacing. Then as we went to Phase 2, we're thinking we submit for this grant application, it's state fiscal year 2024, which we can do as early as July of 2023. So it goes right in line with what we are anticipating for Phase 1 to happen the next calendar or construction year, Phase 2 to occur. So right now where we're at is Phase 1 constructs in 2022. A year later, Phase 2 would construct in calendar year 2023, the beginning of fiscal year 2024. So since I probably totally confused you, let me throw a couple more numbers out. No, we're at an engineer's estimate. This is just coming from the corridor study that we did earlier, and then it being increased accordingly, according to ODOT standards for every year to get us out to state fiscal year 2024. We're at just shy of 6.4 million. Now that's construction, that's engineering, that's right of way. I mean, that's everything for Phase 2. And so we max out within VRPC at a maximum of 3 million that we can request. So it ends up being a little bit over even 50% that the city would fund. 47.3% would be grant, 52.6 would be city funded. But also keep in mind that urban resurfacing is in that city funding. So, so it'll all, the details all work themselves out, we just haven't gotten there yet. So if you allow us, if you give us the recommendation, we're requesting to submit the grant application tomorrow. It'll go through as emergency legislation on Monday through council for the grant application, and we're actually sitting pretty good. We feel pretty positive about our ability of getting this $3 million grant. What questions?
I don't have any. It makes sense to me.
We all knew this was coming. We saw the Wilpert studies and
Yeah.
I have no problem with it.
Okay.
Anybody in the audience? All right, so let's
Anytime you
go
can get-
forward
Emergency.
with emergency, yeah. All
Thank
right.
you. I appreciate it.
Second item,
Second item is a small business development loan application that we received from, I never asked, but Chakers LLC? Otherwise known as doing business as Heron's Market. They have the opportunity to purchase the property, the building at 2 East Main Street. They came to the revolving loan fund committee, the SBD revolving loan fund committee yesterday, requesting $100,000 towards the purchase, as well as the assignment of 2 existing loans on the building to the new project. So the recommendation from the committee unanimously was additional loan of $100,000 with a 30-year loan term, 4.5% simple interest. Collateral would be a second mortgage on the real estate, along with personal guarantees to make up any of the gap in the equity consideration. The other part of this is the existing loans, as I mentioned, and the assignment to this project. The request is that those would be assigned at the exact same rates, exact same terms, with the exception that all 3 of the loans would then have a, let me make sure that I got this right, we talked about so many different things.
6 months.
We'd have 6 months of no payments while they do the construction, then 6 months of interest only, and then the principal and the full principal and interest kicks in. And that's for all 3 loans. Given the fact that this is an $875,000 project, approximately, the city's portion, or the loans portion, is approximately 26-27%, which is a very good ratio compared to some of the other loans. The fact that once they close, they're hoping to close by the end of the month. That may or may not happen based on the fact that the SBD fund, our SBD fund, has the reserves, but they are not appropriated. So there's a reappropriation that hopefully we can get on the agenda for Monday night's meeting. That's between Mr. Frigge and our contract staff that does those for us. So we're hoping that we can get that through. Once that happens, then there is renovation that has to occur, which will take several months, and then the equipment, and then the conversion over from the current site on, I want to say Union Street?
No, go.
Garf. I was going to say Garf. That was my second choice. To the downtown site, which the building is known as the Vault. If you know, it's in the southeast quadrant of downtown. As we do with these, so that we can keep things going and affect the closing as soon as possible, we are requesting emergency legislation.
And as Mr. Titterington said, it was a simple, confusing opportunity for us, and I think we all agreed that to keep it the way it was, address the new loan, on an individual basis was the simplest thing to do going forward for everyone, so. Which was the reason why we did that.
Okay. Can I ask why? I mean, I'm all for it. I don't have any problem, but I mean, if any consistent financier would say combine these, pay off. I assume you're gonna release the existing mortgagor, right?
Well, and we talked about that, and so one of the options would have been to combine all three of them and make them either a 25 or a 30-year loan.
Right,
Well,
236 for
one
30
of
years.
one of the loans drops off after 6 years, the other one drops off in 10, 12,
10 years, I
10
think.
years, somewhere
Yeah.
there. And then the third loan would be carried for 30 years. So when you combine all three together, then there's
But he would
longer.
pay less.
Not really, when
Well,
you
it was-
combine them into one blended rate, it just, you carry a higher amount for a longer period of time, whereas with the way the pro forma and the business plan was set up, it drops off, because they're three different, at least two different interest rates, if not three different interest rates, depending on the loan.
Look,
So we keep it the same, then they've got lower interest on the loans that are gonna be dropping off sooner. And then he's only left with the third loan, which is 100,000, as opposed to the 114 in addition to that.
Is that consistently how we do it in the past?
We've done it several different ways. It's not unusual.
Okay.
We had, as Patrick said, we had discussed going with one, and it would have saved a couple hundred a month, but it,
I mean,
And I would say the applicant, Mr. Herron, and his agent is there in the audience. They were here yesterday for the loan committee, so we discussed that all with
and
them.
they
Okay,
were,
look, as long as
Yeah.
he's good with it, I
Yeah,
don't have any problem.
he
I
was in agreement, Mr. Free was in agreement, so.
So we'll release the existing mortgages and,
We
or
would
is he just
assign
gonna
those
sign
loans
it?
to them and, do all the.
So it's not
back-end
an
work
assumption,
that has
it's
to
an
be done.
assignment.
It's an
Right.
assignment, right.
Not an assumption. Okay.
Because ours are not assumable loans.
Okay, because here it says assume, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to get confused.
Well, they
It's
would
assignment.
assume the loan as an assignment.
As an assignment, okay. Yes, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Look, I think it has an opportunity to be a huge benefit for Troy. It's part of what we did, the Downtown Overlay District for. I see no reason, this is what I think we should do for economic development. I think we all know Connor, we've all been there. I could not imagine putting it to a guy who works harder. I've never seen him not there whenever I'm there. And I think it will be a jewel for the corner of Troy, for the square. So I'm all for it.
Mr.
John.
Chair, before Mr. Swayzer, just to clarify, this is not any kind of request for DRO or
I
downtown.
understand.
It is, though, very supportive of and consistent with the downtown riverfront study that we've done and the redevelopment initiative that we're in the midst of.
Yeah, I understand he hasn't made a zoning change. But my point was exactly what you said. This is what we want to encourage and why we did the things that we've done. So I'm all for it.
John?
I also am all for it. I've watched Heron's Meat Market grow from when he first bought it several years ago to what it is today. And I'm excited to have it downtown. Again, it's what downtown needs. There is a market for it downtown, and I hope all the best for him. Just to go back to the three loans, are we going to keep the loans the same? And the 100,000 is going to be at 4.5%?
Yes.
Okay, I understood that correctly.
As is today,
Okay,
so,
I have nothing else.
okay. Any other council people?
If I may. In the addresses, it's 2 and number 6 East Main Street, Are you taking, I'm going to address this to Mr. Herron. Are you taking the entire building or just a portion of the building? If you come on up to the
Yeah,
mic.
you need to come up and state your name and address.
Connor Herron, 502 Garfield Avenue, Troy, Ohio. The building has been surveyed off, so they have, each have 2 East Main and 6 East Main have individual parcel lots at this point.
And the reason that was because when the initial 2 loans were in place, they were for 2 and 6, because but Connor is only buying 2.
Correct.
Not 6. 6 is the one around the corner on East Main Street,
Right.
the little boutique that's
Right.
there.
Where the yarn store used to be, or?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, but this just begs the question, then, are the existing loans on number 2, or were they on number 6 also?
They will be, they were with 6, but they'll be converted as part of the assignment to 2.
2-2, okay.
To 2.
Gotcha.
So 6 is gonna be a separate building that's gonna be,
Correct.
but we're not concerned
And
about it.
it's already been split.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
And this
all.
is many years, I know it's been a couple of years in the making and
Yes.
many other decisions, but somebody upstairs has a plan, and we just need to be
Yeah.
smart enough to follow
We
it.
believe that. Thank you all.
Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments?
Is that emergency?
Yes, please.
John?
I don't-
I'm good with emergency.
I'm good.
Okay, let's move forward. Emergency.
Very good.
Anything else come before finance?
No, sir.
I would like to say something real quick. I just want to thank Ms. Knight and council. I knew was going to be a little late. I saw Ms. Knight send out an email and said 5:15, so I appreciate everybody's patience and waiting for me to be here. I did tell Ms. Knight before she scheduled I was going to be a little late, but we got it all worked out, and so I appreciate everybody's patience and waiting for me.
Okay. All right, being adjourned.